in the year 583 of the Second Era. A time of crisis and constant struggle. 3 alliances vie for the control of the White Gold Tower. The Aldmeri Dominion, the Even-Heart Pact, and the Daggerfall Covenant each seek to obtain the Ruby Throne, taking advantage of the unholy war that has already been set in motion. Molag Bal, the Daedric Prince of Domination and Enslavement, has cast portals through the plains of Oblivion to Nirn. His plan is simple. He wishes to drag Tamriel into Cold Harbor, his realm of Oblivion. And he will do that through these portals or dark anchors. And he is not alone in this feat. Molag Bal has many slaves and servants who do his bidding and accompany the arrival of each dark anchor. They are entities of the purest evil and corruption feared by all. Their souls are devoid of humanity, and they know only death and raw hatred. These abominations are known as Daedra. Daedra are beings that dwell within the plains of Oblivion, and while some are specific to a realm, others are seen wandering through all of the other planes. They come in many forms and only live to serve their master's purpose. Among them, there are both bloodthirsty warriors and power-hungry sorcerers looking to prove through brutality, and blindly ferocious creatures created solely for the purpose of destruction. The more humanoid-looking Daedra seen here are often referred to as Dremora and are seen usually in Merum's Dagon's realm of Oblivion. Obviously, Molag Bal has created his own form of these heartless warriors and sent them to defile all the living souls of Tamriel. These small impish creatures are known as Scamps, another native to Merum's Dagon's realm of Oblivion. Molag seems to have accumulated many creatures from his fellow Daedric prince. Molag Bal himself is known throughout Tamriel as many things, some of which being corruption, slavery, and rape. To most, he is simply the embodiment of all things inherently evil. Molag Bal often gives his mortal champions weapons which capture the souls of the vanquished, as is customary with the Daedric Lord. Molag is constantly hungering for these souls, and continues his search endlessly. In fact, it is said that his main desire is to drag the souls of the living into Cold Harbor and enslave them there. Molag Bal's realm of Oblivion is said to be a replica of Nirn, if it were in utter chaos and ruin. According to legend, there is no safety there. The sky is set ablaze with a continuous fire, and the air is freezing cold. The ground is barely passable as it's mostly sludge, and Molag's minions are constantly patrolling the area. The theories behind why the Daedric Lord chose for his realm to be so closely resembling Nirn are still debated, but it is very likely that he is in some way jealous of the Daedra's creation here in Nirn. He, in his own petty way, symbolically destroying the achievements of others. Molag Bal constructed these arc anchors, the ultimate plan to ensure peace is never restored. But this plan can be thwarted. It'll take many strong, capable fighters to bring down these anchors, as Molag Bal's power is incomprehensible, as shown through the creatures he keeps as his servants and soldiers. What is really interesting, however, is the largest creature seen in the video. Logically, this monster can be classified as some kind of flesh Asurnak, which made a popular appearance during the Shivering Islands DLC for Oblivion. What is unique about them is that rather than simply being a Daedra, the flesh Asurnax must first be constructed out of the limbs of the dead, and a Daedric soul can then inhabit the empty form. This separates the flesh Asurnax from, say, a flame or a frost Asurnax, in the sense that they are not truly living beings, but rather just a possessed body. The largest flesh Asurnax we had seen before the release of this video was the Gatekeeper from Oblivion, and this video proves there are larger, more threatening forms of the monstrosities that will aid Molag in his attempt at desecrating the entirety of Tamriel. While Molag Bal's armies are strong, the alliances must prove stronger. All three factions must work together in order to preserve the throne they all so desperately want to take ownership of. And to do this, they must first forgive all grudges. Ancient and deep-seated racial and political disputes must be kept aside. The young elven ruler of the Aldmeri Dominion must set aside her pride and take up arms beside the Nords her people detest so much. The headstrong, scald king of the Evenhard Pact must relinquish his stubborn attitude for a shot at what he so desires. And the Daggerfall Covenant's Breton merchant king must break his unbroken rules, all for the benefit of the province of Tamriel. With every dying soul he ensnares, Molag Bal's armies grow exponentially, and with agents like Lord Manimarco, a powerful necromancer, it's no wonder Molag serves to be such a threat. Manimarco actually works personally with Apnur Tharn, an incredibly influential member of the Elder Council who worships Molag Bal and the other Daedra, in secret. Abner is blatantly betraying the Empire in his working with Manimarco, and it is very clear why the three alliances want these men dead. They are Molag's biggest ties to Tamriel and to its destruction. This was my lore review of the trailer and the events happening on the video. For more knowledge on TESO, stay tuned. Now, there are a lot of really interesting things that we saw here in the video that I want to talk about, and the very first one here are the Dark Anchors. What I find interesting about that, and what I really like, is the fact that for those of you who played Rift, the gameplay feature of the Rifts was probably one of the best things that a company has ever brought into the MMO genre. It feels like we are going to just be walking around the world and suddenly a Dark Anchor is going to pop up, and then we're going to have to, alongside with whoever is alongside with us in the area, we're gonna have to fight enemies coming down from this anchor. So it feels like the game is gonna be focusing a lot on PvP action, right? Every single alliance is gonna be fighting the other one, but then as soon as an anchor comes down, it just feels like it's gonna be a reason for all of us to fight together and to forget those PvP differences, or maybe even just compete to bring down these anchors. And this brings another dynamic into the game that I don't think we actually got to see in Rift, and if TESO manages to nail that, then I think this is a great improvement. Another thing though that I found very interesting was the type of Daedra that came out of the anchor, and those are the Dremora and the Scamps. And what's interesting about this is that those Daedras are usually related to Meyrum's Dagon, and this is actually pretty interesting because there's this concept of trading Daedras in between Daedric princes that it is still not known how this works, if there are just really any type of Daedra on any plane of Oblivion, or if the Daedric princes just kind of help each other out with their own monsters and minions. Because Molag Bal actually has its own army, and those are the crocodiles that we see in Oblivion, those little Daedras that look like crocodiles but are bipedal. Those guys, those are actually only seen on Molag Bal's realms, and we saw them on Oblivion, which means that he somehow lent them to Mehrunes Dagon, but now we see Mehrunes Dagon kind of paying the favor in a way. Well, I guess technically this happened first in Oblivion, but you know what I mean. This concept of trading in Daedras, or however this works for them, it's very interesting to me, and hopefully we'll get to know a little bit more about how this works once we start to actually learn about Cold Harbor and whatever it's inside Molag Bal's dominion in Oblivion. But the main important thing here that I want to talk about is Manimarco. Now, Manimarco is this badass necromancer that we see in the cinematic, and the reason why he's so cool is because he's actually been a very big influence over the Elder Scrolls for pretty much the entire series. For those of you who didn't play the earlier titles, he actually appeared in Daggerfall. Then he appears now in online, and he was actually in Oblivion as well. He was actually, well, I don't want to talk too much about him because I'm gonna make a video, but just to give you guys a little taste of what he is, he was actually the first Lich that was ever created, and he is pretty much immortal. And because he was in Oblivion, we can assume that he's just not gonna die in online, so he's not gonna be like a raid boss or anything along those lines, which is interesting because, I mean, he's one of the bad guys, one of the main antagonists. So if we cannot actually kill him, then I wonder how we are going to actually finish the game. You know, he is actually the one opening these portals on ground. So we'll see how that works. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about the trailer. It was a pretty sweet trailer. The cinematic is just amazing, and I want to know what you guys found the most interesting about this. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.